Hi everyone, my name is Elise Alter and I'm the ODMAP Program Manager for the Washington-Baltimore HIDTA. Today we're just going to do a brief overview on the Level 1 platform, which incorporates the most recent updates from the most recent release of ODMAP in May 2019. Once you come to the screen, you will just click Login once you enter in your appropriate credentials. And for any of those of you who are unfamiliar, this is the screen where suspected overdose entry takes place. There are 3 different methods in which you can enter in an overdose. You can either use your device's location, you can use coordinates such as latitude and longitude, but the most popular method is by utilizing an address. It's important to mention that if you utilize an address, it's not stored within ODMAP and you cannot go back to find that address again. So if we use an address to enter in a suspected overdose, we will go ahead and start typing in our address. And you'll see that as we type that the box is red. Once we select our address, the box will then turn to green, letting us know that the system has accepted it. The only other fields that are required other than location to enter in a suspected overdose is whether or not it was fatal or non-fatal, the corresponding naloxone, and the date and time. This information and case information is optional. However, you do have the ability to enter it in if you'd like to. For primary suspected drug, you would just select one drug, which is the primary drug. However, you can select additional drugs, and you can do so by selecting the first one and then holding down the control button and selecting as many other drugs as you'd like. If there is a drug that is not listed and pre-populated within these fields, you have the ability to select other and then to enter in a free text form. We'll continue entering in our suspected overdose. We'll select the appropriate box. We will click it, and then we would just need to select our date and time. We'll just verify that the location appears correct on the map and submit it as a correct location. ODMAP also has the ability to detect possible duplicate points. Prior to this training, I went ahead and entered in the same location. And so if, for example, that first location that was entered by law enforcement on scene, and then the one we just entered in together was entered by law enforcement, we would have the law enforcement agency's information, the person who entered that overdose, to hopefully serve as a warning that that person you were just on scene with has already entered that overdose. However, if we determine that this is a completely different overdose, we have the ability to submit this location anyways. ODMAP detects duplicate points within 285 feet and within the past hour. We have the ability to manage our overdoses. So for example, if this overdose that we just entered in together, we need to go back and update some information in it, whether it was the incident type, for example, we can just select that, and then we scroll down and click Save. It will again continue to warn us that this could be a possible duplicate point, and we can again override that information. We can also delete this suspected overdose if it was incorrect or submitted in error. It will continue to alert us to make sure that we're sure that we want to delete it, and we can just click Delete, and now it is no longer there. You can also search your records within the ODMAP Level 1 platform. And so you can select incident type, drug type, or you can also sort by a specific date range. Whatever you select, you'll then click Search. And then below here, it will correspond with your selections. It will populate those on a map, and it will list them down here below. And so you can see the fields that are here. And again, no location via address is entered, just our latitude and longitude. And we can also export that from Excel directly from the ODMAP Level 1 platform. We can also manage alerts, and this is where our most recent release incorporates some exciting new features. We have our standard spike alert, which traditionally you could only set a generic spike alert which encompassed both fatal and non-fatal overdose. Now we have the ability to create spike alerts by both fatal, non-fatal, or both. So we'll walk through setting up a spike alert together. You will still select your state, and then you'll select the county. You can select if you want either spike alerts by fatal, non-fatal, or both. And you'll see that the system still gives you a recommended spike alert threshold based off of data which is in the system. The formula which ODMAP utilizes is a formula of 2 standard deviations above the mean. You can also continue to select a threshold that you determine is most appropriate. And you'll just enter in your subscribers here, and then click Create. A new feature is that you can automatically update your threshold based off of data which is in ODMAP. So for example, if currently a threshold makes sense of 6, however next month, due to a change in the environment, it should be 7, ODMAP will automatically update that for you. There is a new feature called an Overdose Alert, where you can create an Overdose Alert and be notified every time that a fatal, a non-fatal, or both are entered in a given county. And so these are created just as our standard spike alerts are created. So we select again, and if we want to be notified every time that a fatal overdose is entered into Baltimore County, we'll just enter in our information and click Create. An exciting new feature is also a statewide spike alert. This creates an alert for an entire state, so that if any county in that state is experiencing a spike, the user will get an alert. The incident type is defaulted to both, so it encompasses both fatal and non-fatal overdoses, and this cannot be changed. The threshold is also set to be automatically updated by default, and this cannot be changed, and it is utilizing that standard formula of 2 standard deviations above the mean. So we would just select our state of interest, enter in our subscribers, and then click Create. Lastly, we can manage our users. This functionality remains the same, but just as a refresher, we have the ability to create additional level 2 users. And again, this can only be completed by agency administrators. As a reminder, an agency can have as many administrators as they deem appropriate, and those administrators are responsible for overseeing the overall users for those agencies. Since we are in the training environment, we can't see any active level 1 users. However, if you're an agency administrator, you would see them here. You'd have an edit button. You just click edit and then click administrator to give out additional administrator responsibilities to other users within your agency. Agency administrators also have the ability to create level 2 users for their agency. So they would just type in the name here. They would type in the email address and a phone number, and then they would click Create. They'll be notified that this could take between 1 to 2 business days for a level 2 user to be processed. And then if a user happens to leave the agency, be transferred, or no longer needs access to level 2, they have the ability to unapprove those users, and they will all show within their Manage User selection. Any users which an administrator unapproves will always display within this page, and the administrator can always reapprove that user, and they will show and reflect here. That concludes our demonstration of the Level 1 platform. As a reminder, you can also view our policies and procedures. There's a quick link to ODMAP Level 2. We also have our new feature here to leave a suggestion for the ODMAP development team. And you can enter that information here. And as a reminder, odmap.org has some information as well to include additional links to some of our training materials. Thank you again for joining, and please feel free to reach out with any questions or concerns.